bottle.
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Okay, using a new piece of technology today, so just want to make sure.
Do you need an agenda for it?
It works.
No.
They got the same one.
Always fun.
Always fun, learn something new. So maybe just, I think everybody is here. So, we'll allow the board president to call the meeting to order.
As you,
Yeah, I'd like to call this, Order School Trustees of Brown County Schools Committee, to order on 3 p.m. on October 15th, 2025. Yeah, we have a flag, we're going to stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can you guys on the call hear us okay?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I appreciate everybody being here for the special session today. The only thing that is on the agenda is for the board to be able to discuss the athletic facility improvement project. I thought it would be advantageous for us to invite the team at Target to join us at the front end of this meeting in case any board members had direct questions for them. I think I've got scheduled from 3 to 4. We do not have to take the whole hour on the virtual call if we don't need it, but we have it. So I just want to be able to open it up to that part first.
we didn't get anything on paper or the PowerPoint slides.
I emailed it
Okay.
the night of the board meeting.
I wanted to be able to see it, so.
Oh. Not the big picture.
Right.
I have left.
Yeah.
Carol, you got questions?
No.
Carol's gonna
Oh,
start.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Carol's gonna start off with a few questions, and we'll just go around the table. That'd be all right?
Yeah.
Okay. The first question is related to the home stands. And from what I could tell from the design, it looked like you had a ramp type thing on the south end of the home stands. Is that correct? That's okay. Does that also have stairs there?
Can't hear you there.
We'll go with this, but.
Okay, yes, it does have a ramp, and we can supply stairs, but currently it's not there with stairs. But we will get through that with the manufacturer.
Because that is what we have currently in place at the north end of the stands. It's a ramp and there's steps. So, that accommodates a whole different population with the movement. Okay. Now, the good thing is I noticed you had more stalls in the women's bathroom than you did the men's bathroom. Does one of those stalls include a handicap stall?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, the last one on the end is the handicap accessibles.
Yeah, and as you heard the last time, I talked about the proper placement of toilet paper and grab bars so that they really are functional.
As high as it allows us,
Okay.
we got you.
Yeah, well, I mean, because I've had patients literally fall off the toilet, because of how low seats and trying to do that. And, you know, you're still young, and you look guys up on the other things, you're a little bit older, you can realize that you get bent over too far, you can get in a medical situation. Okay? If I understand this correctly, I mean, the field is gonna be elevated, and by the fact that the field is gonna be elevated, then the current ramps that we have going up to the front parking lot and everything are gonna be more shallow.
To the west parking lot, you're saying, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, that is correct.
All right, that's the three things I got for the moment. I pass on to whomever.
Vicky?
On the concession stand, I know you said it didn't have any ability to cook in it. And I'm guessing what I see are some sinks there and I assume a counter at the front. Is there the ability to upgrade that at a later time if we wanted to do that?
Ability, probably. It's one of those things that we recommend doing it up front, but it adds a significant amount of cost to go towards cooking indoor.
Right.
You can always add a hood later,
Right.
but it's obviously good to plan for it up front.
I looked at a hood for my house. I know how much they cost, so I understand that.
I'm gonna piggyback question on Amy's, now if they're to use like personal air fryers or smaller units, does it have to have hoods if that stuff's brought in?
Warming units, yeah.
Air fryer specifically, I have to check. So there's different codes that trigger certain things, right? So if you have just prepackaged goods and stuff like that, then you don't necessarily require a grease interceptor, for example. Which is part of the sink that's taking all the oils and stuff and keeping that underground and not letting it into your plumbing system. And then if you're cooking indoor, an air fryer specifically, I don't know, but there are things that'll trigger a hood, and I would need to check that with our engineers and read the code a little more thoroughly for your area to know for certain. We typically try to stay away from it just because it could trigger it or it could not, and we're trying to avoid that.
But all grilling and stuff can still be done next to that.
Like we do now, yeah. And I see two little boxes on the right side of the concession stand. Are those refrigerators?
Checking what we have drawn in there. Yeah, those are representing refrigerators or something along those lines.
Okay.
I don't know, Scott. I assume that all appliances and stuff are deferred in our budget at the moment. Applied by owner. You're muted, Scott.
Still.
All right, sorry about that. Yeah, we would have the hookups, but yeah, the appliances would be provided by the owner.
And is there a counter in the middle? You've got that one on top of it. It just looks like, I think the reason we're asking is it just like a big blank space, which might be okay, again, if you wanted to fill it in later, but I just wanted to make sure it was an efficient space, because we've all worked in a lot of concession stands before, and the setup really does make a difference, so.
Yeah, and to that point, we can plan on space arrangements, and if you guys have existing like refrigerators or stuff that you plan on using, again, we'll get the dimension of all that stuff and give you guys a layout for it. We just don't want to promise anything that we're not putting in the project, so that's why it looks pretty barren right now.
Okay, I think that's just, it may look incomplete, I think, as far as the detail, but we certainly do, I know in the basketball gym, we have a bunch of fridges and storage and all kinds of things, so. And some out
Yeah,
at
so
soccer.
one of the things we'll do as we move forward with this is we'll sit down with your concession stand folks, whatever the group is, and kind of plan out their operations and see how that works. In some places, it may be a stainless steel table across there where you're just passing food to the people in front. Other folks want to, providing the room and they're kind of grabbing side to side. So it's really one of the site-specific line things we're going to do, and we'll talk through all of that to see what the group does to do.
And this sounds like a really picky thing, but I'm just thinking about it. On the bathroom doors, will they, I don't know what the current standard would be in public buildings, but it's always hard when you need a key and some random person who isn't there doesn't have a key. Are you using keypads anymore or anything like that?
We would typically match whatever you guys use throughout the school for door hardware. Typically, that would be a key on this building. That's our assumption. If your guys' typical system is keypad, then we can work through that with our door hardware experts and things like that.
And I know David knows a lot more about that, but my question is, a lot of times, like, somebody's down at the track and they need to go to the bathroom, and, you know, how can we make that accessible to the people who need it, but locked to the people who don't? So, I don't know what that looks like, but bathroom access, of course, can be a big deal.
It might be something along the lines of if you have a PE teacher or something like that is down there with the kids during the day, and you know they'll be down there, then you create extra keys in order to enable them to lock and unlock. But up to the school who gets keys, who doesn't.
Yeah. I guess I just thought we ought to think about that, because those little things are the things that you end up being really irritated about later, and you're like, well, we just did this. Why didn't we think about it? So.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
We can use our, yeah, that would be, it's almost everybody has,
I think that's all I have right now, so. Excuse me. Okay.
I gotta think about where I wanna start first. Okay, so I have a question more regarding the, field kind of area. Are there any permits that would hold this up or prevent it from happening?
The field area, we actually just met with DNR right before this call. Again, we really like talking to them right before we talk to you guys, so that we come. They because we are entirely moving your field out of the floodway, we do not even need a permit through DNR. They just told us we don't have a permit at all. We just need a letter of, what was it called? Letter of, I wrote it down somewhere. It's a letter of something. It's easy to get, and it basically just means that we can, like, demo your track and everything that's existing within the floodway right now. And basically we just have to, resod it, bring it back to what it's what it would be naturally. And it's very easy to acquire.
What about other county or state permits?
Overall, we're not too worried about the rest of it. I don't know, maybe FEMA or something along those lines, but anything else you think we might hit a snag on?
No, I don't think so. The rest would be typical permitting there. With county officials, that seems, nothing out of the ordinary, and same thing with permitting through the state. Aside from DNR, we'll be looking at the Department of Environment. They said that we would coordinate the NPDS permit for the land disturbance activities.
Yeah, and that was a good question, because I'm on the planning commission, so, I can think of it. I don't know if you're gonna need a permit from them or what, but that's something we should look into.
Yeah, and we've talked to, I think it's Phyllis Carr. I've started that conversation with Phyllis. So we're talking to everybody, make sure everyone's aware of the project early on, because that's the best way to avoid permitting hang-ups, is make sure they know all about it before they get it.
Don't worry, I'll bring it up at the next meeting.
Sounds good.
I've got several warranty questions, like when it comes to both the track and the field, are there certain things that aren't covered in that warranty?
What's your warranty include?
Well, we can start with the track. I'll start with the base of the track and build. We can touch on the actual surface itself, but the post-tension track itself has a 50-year warranty. And what that covers, basically what it's saying is you're not going to get cracks that are going to get out of planarity. They're going to get separated out, things of that nature. What I will tell you is on all of our post-tension tracks that we've done, as well as our
So the surfacing carries a 10-year warranty. We, as the manufacturer, are the carrying the warranty. So if there's an issue, you can call me or you can call Bill Moffett, either one of us, and the process is really simple. We come down and look at the problem, take measurements and photos, and then if in fact it's an issue of material or craftsmanship installing the product, there was an error done or whatever, then we cover that. The things that we don't cover, damage from gators, damage from equipment, damage from like if a storm blows a soccer goal over and tears the surface, things like that. Those are typically not covered under the warranty. So for us as a manufacturer, covering the warranty regarding surfacing, it has everything to do with the manufacturing and acceptability of the product, as well as making sure it's adhered to the concrete and making sure that we honor the warranty and take care of it.
Now, what about, underneath the turf, the field portion? The structure
So-
under the turf and then the surface?
So we are new to market with our stone to surface warranty. With that, it states that we are going to warranty your subgrade, your stone drainage underneath your turf for the same period of time that we warranty your turf floor itself. And I've got Blake Centers. He is on the Google Meet, but he's not able to hear anybody, so I've got him on speakerphone in my my computer, and I don't know if he's hearing all of this or not. Blake? Yeah, and I heard the question about warranty, correct? Yes. Yeah, so similar to Bill's response to the track surfacing, the 8-year warranty for the term is basically a product and workmanship warranty, meaning, after we install your field, the pipes aren't going to start breaking apart. If any of the inlays, corner of an inlay starts peeking up, we'll come take care of it. Again, it's for the same exclusions that Bill mentioned. If you're shooting fireworks off on the turf and you sense the turf, that's not a warranty issue. If you're, again, dragging something and you tear the turf, that's not a warranty issue. But if it's based on something that, based on our manufacturing, so we make all of our own turf, we'll cover that. Very similar to the Biden warranty.
So I heard you mention earlier gator tearing up the track, and we gotta use a gator to clean the track and prep the turf and stuff. You can go across the track with the gator, correct? You're saying like no?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, I just
So,
want,
most all the time, the gators have turf tires on them, right?
right.
So just drive straight across the track and straight back off the track, and then groom the field and you're good to go. They also use gators to move water around and bring water to the field and things like that. So that's all pretty typical. The thing that you want to avoid is adding turns of the wheels, right? Where they're just stationary and some youngster is just turning the wheel back and forth, and that can potentially tear the surface. So always make sure it's moving forward when the wheels turn, and you're pretty good to go. I mean, gators are on our tracks everywhere, literally everywhere. So just use caution. The things you want to avoid bicycles, you want to avoid inline skates, you want to avoid skateboards, you want to avoid the scooter things that the kids ride around on all the time, the electric ones. Those are the things that you don't want to have on the running truck.
So you're giving us an 8-year warranty on the turf. Let's say we use the turf for 10 years. Then we have a new turf put in place of it, do we still get another 8-year warranty on that? How's that work?
So, did you hear that, Blake? Yeah. So you, at some point, when you have to replace the curb and turf, your warranty kicks in with the new turf.
Can you repeat
So
that?
your warranty, so your warranty, like, all right, so say you get to year 10 and you said, okay, we're gonna replace the turf. You replace the turf, and then you will get a new warranty with that new turf.
But what about the understructure? How does that happen with the warranty?
If the understructure, if you go back in with a new surface and it's going to be, and it's field turf surface, or field turf, as long as you're working through Target to do that, we'll go in, we'll inspect the subgrade, the drainage, all of that stuff that pertains to that, and then if you put the new field turf on top of it, then we will continue to warranty the surface underneath it. Now, in 8 years or 10 years from now, if you decide you wanted to switch turf companies, obviously at that point we can't be responsible for what they're doing on top of our base. We're doing the new turf, and so at that point, you would just, the only thing that would remain would be your track warranty with the surface and the restriction track itself.
I think my next question will be for Michael. So we're raising this up, and as I told you last meeting, I'm a farmer, and most of my ground isn't flood. We built levees and things like that all over the place. We're distributing water in a different area now because we're raising that. And then we got a 46 is the dam over here. Now, I'm not opposed to any of this, but we're putting a big rock out there. The water got to go around. And I guess my fear would be we have a flood and it washes out from underneath the turf, or the existing ground that we built the turf on, it washes it out. Is that would that become an insurance deal, or are we backing water out in places where we shouldn't be backing water out? That's my concern. But you said that it actually opened it up better, correct?
Yes, that's correct. So right now, the field acts as an obstruction. The field and the bleachers act as an obstruction in the waterway. So by rotating and moving the field out of that, we're actually redefining, reopening up that floodway, which is what conveys, your flood water flows for the most part. The floodplain fringe, where we're actually moving the field to, it just acts as back storage. It does not account for the ability for that channel to convey the runoff. So we'll actually help the water get through the site and through the culvert underneath 46. And any of the embankments that were built, we'll be stabilizing those with some reinforcement, geotextiles, so that we won't have that issue as far as those washing.
So on the drainage from the turf, we're going to the creek, correct?
Yes.
So as long as the creek's up, the turf won't drain, correct?
As long as the water's not up to the level of the turf, it will drain.
It will drain.
It will drain until it is.
Would it be recommended that as we're doing this, to get that overgrown ditchway cleared out?
So part of that ditch we're actually going to fill in and cover with a new culvert because we'll be filling over kind of the one end zone over top of that. So don't anticipate any issues with that culvert or that existing swale.
What about the main creek? Because that's grown up quite a bit.
That's where my no was. Actually, part of this conversation at DNR was about that creek. If we remove a tree from the floodway, and we have to replace that tree 2 to 1, we don't believe we're going to have to remove any planting, but they are not going to really want us to remove planting from that area.
What about trimming it?
I didn't say anything about weeds. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to ask. But trees are their main concern because those roots are going to hold the bank together.
Yeah, exactly. The trees and the existing vegetation actually help define that stream bank and to limit any chance of erosion along the stream bank. Now, if there's invasives there, and we've seen some schools actually enter into programs with their local DNR about doing like repairing plantings through that corridor. With us doing this work here, there would be a good opportunity for that. We're not going to put any of that on the plans, not required at this point, but is the school, and we can help facilitate that with DNR. Wants to look at what type of programs they have where they can possibly give a grant to actually revegetate that area. That could be something we can help them look at down the road.
I'm thinking about, cause June 9th, 8th into the 9th, we had a massive flood or massive rain that came down. And because that creek was jam-packed with all kinds of debris and leaves, and it rerouted the water. So my concern is, looking forward, do we need to be proactive as a school system on that stretch of the creek that's on our, like, in our property, and getting that cleared out? Not cutting trees down, but getting it free of log jams.
Yes, if there's debris in there, yes, you have the ability to go in there and maintain that sewage.
As long as you stay out of the water.
Yeah.
I was not paying attention, but I was looking to see if there were any comments online, and I don't find any. And I don't know, I looked at Democrat page 2, I didn't see any comments. So, did we get any emails from the public? Okay. I just wanted to know if there were any questions from those folks.
No, I have not received anything.
I guess I have just a question about costs. I know the estimate is 5.9, right? And we have up to 6.1, right? And just to make sure that, I mean, you feel confident that you could do it for that price, and that there is a little bit of cushion there, and that would be enough. That's gonna do the project. I guess I want to make sure we're completely within our budget. I think we are.
Yeah, I think, right, that to the 6.1, like, that cushion is really for us to take care of, like, working with the bond council and those pieces,
Okay.
so not necessarily for Target. Target's budget was 5.9, and so.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just want to make sure that as far as landscaping, when you're done, that's what I think about, like, it's the stuff at the end, like, oh, well, they did this and they didn't do that. What kind of finishing touches will you do, or what ones would we be responsible for?
So we have in our price proposal, basically we have an allotment there for general seating and for landscaping. So it's $50,000. So as we get into the design, or final design, those will be the things we start working through that with our seating, hydro seating, as well as what plantings are going to go where, and we'll work with a local landscaper actually on a lot of that. We'll bring them in and start working through the budget, and basically it's going to be kind of a back and forth between the district and us to finalize that plan and design in that budget to make sure that we have this accounted for. Now, if we get into a situation where, let's say, Emily wants, or the district says, hey, we'd really like to add 25 extra trees over the budget amount, then either one will try to find if there's any stay with the scope of the project, or it can just be a standalone thing within the district group on their own. But we believe kind of what we've laid out with the overall plan of this, the $50,000 should take care of washouts in the future, especially on the creek side.
Well, I guess I'm just imagining, we're gonna have this, 4-foot area that's gonna be dirt and mud for a while, right? So until the grass gets seeded. So, I just wanna be really careful about that, and then making sure, of course, if it is in the spring, that it doesn't wash away the seeds or whatever. So I'm sure you know how to do that, but I'm just imagining, we're like, hey, it's done. And I don't really wanna, I know there's not a lot you can do about it. You gotta do the work, but, we're gonna wanna make sure that the grass grows and it looks really nice, so.
Oh, yeah, definitely so. And we can work with Jimmy too on that, on what they're typically using in the areas, so that everything matches up well. And then we'll also look at the time of the year, what the weather's looking like, and how something needs to be established. And then that kind of comes into play with that and the budget. And then, okay, is it sod, or is it a seed, a hydro mulch on top of it? We prefer seeding and hydro mulching because from an ongoing watering standpoint, it tends to take better, and you're not spending as much resources to water it. Now, if we do that in June, that's hard to establish, but if we do it in early in August, we can get it down and then start getting those fall moisture, hopefully, and then it pops up and goes like crazy. And we can play with the seedling as well on that to make sure that we get quick establishment, and then work to be there. But usually in areas that we have to get quickly, the grass established very quickly, especially for like this particular project going into the fall and wanting a standard grass for it, we'll go heavier on a rye blend, just because the rye will pop up quicker, and then that allows it to do overseeding over the winter, and then get that additional growth in the spring. So all parts of the equation that we'll work through from the landscape design side of it to make sure you guys have something that's good at the first meeting.
Okay, thank you.
The maintenance package, that included a bag of pellets, correct? On the turf.
Yeah, typically we'll leave you with a bag of rubber as well as a bag of sand. And that way you can fill in.
So, on the average, just the average, how many bags do you go through a year on that?
I will tell you my personal experience. I had a facility that had a football field, a soccer field, a baseball field, and a softball field. All of that only used half a bag of rubber and sand. So I think the key to this is, and this is where I think our field folks are fantastic with, is we will teach you how to groom it and how to stay on top of that grooming to where it's not so much you're filling in holes. A lot of times that's where people will allow, they get behind and they get holes dug in it. Well, instead of trying to stay on top of the groom it, now they're dumping more material on there. And it's not as successful. Or even more of it. So I think the key is just keeping it to improve the project there in the spring. The bags of rubber aren't too bad. And Blake, correct me if I'm wrong, a bag should last quite a bit of time, correct? You will never ever go through that entire bag at a time. Yeah. So what Blake said is you will never go through that entire bag of attic stop rubber. You do, you're gonna. Yeah. So,
Are we talking like 50-pound bags? We're talking like,
oh, it's a big tote.
Like
So like.
2 ton, 4 ton, I mean,
Like the square.
you gotta give it a 4 ton.
Got it, okay,
You were imagining a bag of mulch.
I'm thinking like a bag of mulch, and I'm like, that doesn't seem like a lot.
Like with bulk beans and stuff, maybe that'd be better.
Yeah.
Roughly, and I'm not gonna hold you guys to this. The minute your first guys show up, start doing stuff to when it becomes available, runs about how long?
That is, that's a loaded question. So,
That's my job.
So we're gonna tackle this from a construction phasing, in kind of 2 parts. One will be your, the concession stand, and the other part will be the actual field construction and whatnot. So what our game plan would be is hopefully by April, we can start, moving dirt, doing things of that nature. Once we get the site to grade, we can form and pour a track in a matter of 2 to 3 weeks. Then it has to be cured, and then Bill's team needs another 30 days to put the surface on the track at Redfield. You're muted, Bill, sorry.
All right, probably about 5 weeks. About 5 weeks to put the track in.
Yeah. And then at that same time, we'd be working on, or before the surface, we'd be working on the base of that, of the turf to get it in place as well. And Blake, you're probably, what, a 3-week install? Deal, 4 weeks?
Yeah, you're right on point, 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, 3 to 4 weeks for the turf install. So ultimately, what you're looking at is our game plan is by April 1 to be out of there. As far as the field, you have your field ready, your turf ready, or your track ready, and then if there's anything outlying around the concession stand, things like that, you can finish it up to the CD. If you haven't already, any of those like little last minute details with bleachers, they that, but there is going to be getting that dirt work out of the way. It's going to take a little bit of time to move the dirt, compact it, and make sure that we're raising it up in the lift where it's not going to go anywhere. So, if we start in April, you'll be ready for the season. And I believe on this one we even included barrier 1 build, so I can shorten up our cure time on that track as well. What that is for board members and for Emily, barrier 1 is a product that allows us to start surfacing that track in 7 days as opposed to 28 days. And so it's not basically it allows that shaves 3 weeks off of that process, which when we're talking about your guys' season in August helps with that tremendously.
So it's possible that we would have the track and the field done, but we might not have bleachers and concessions done by the time football season starts. Is that it? Or
No, we should have everything ready to go for the
Okay.
season.
Great.
We'll start. Quite honestly, Aaron and Michael, if permitting goes well and we can start on the concession stand sooner than April 1, and we can do it in a manner that's safe for your students that are still practicing there, we won't be opposed to that as well.
This is all weather permitted too, correct?
Of course, yeah. Well, what I will tell you, community here in Missouri, we just we put over they had their last football game was September 19th, and we poured their track, the track on September 29th, and they start putting the curtains down this next week. Our crews, you will see, are incredibly fast. That track will be poured in one day.
Where do you source all the dirt? I think that's a
That-
question. Where are you gonna get all the dirt? Who's getting a pond this spring?
Who wants one? Michael, I think you talked about the hillside a little bit and what we're doing there.
As part of the project with barricading the track, we will be pushing the one corner into the hillside. So we'll be able to get some of the fill material from there, but we will need other alternative sources as well.
Some of it, I think and I don't know, I haven't had a chance to talk to Aaron and Michael after the DNR meeting this morning, but we'll be able to create some storage in that floodway.
Based on our correspondence with them, we don't have to do a compensatory storage.
Okay, all right.
Explain that.
So because we're not doing any fill within the floodway, they've calculated the floodway that in essence you could completely fill the floodplain fringe and not have any adverse impact. So that's, your local county does not require any compensatory storage on site. We will be achieving some by doing the things that we're doing, but we don't have to completely offset the flow of placing.
We do have some projects that are going to take place in the area. We're going to try to have her well. But with that being said, if there is opportunity to grab dirt even closer, it's something that we're going to be looking to do. We're going to be communicating with some area contractors. And quite honestly, I mean, if you all have leads on it, we're more than happy to chase it down, what we got, and see.
So as whatever houses are gonna be built in April and they're digging the basement, then that's a great opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Assuming,
Maybe
assuming, yeah, assuming that it's good filter for what we're doing, we will look at that, right? Chase it down.
For example, a project we were working on up in Ohio a couple of years ago is for a community park, and we needed a bunch of fill dirt there to get their site to slope, and the city was doing a bunch of road construction. So all of that road they were stripping, they were just bringing that dirt to site, and there was a giant pile of dirt sitting there for I think longer than they wanted, but we eventually were able to use what they were stripping to create the roads, so that was really helpful.
Yeah, the trick to it all is making sure that it's quality fill, that we can compact properly, so that you have a product that's going to outlive all of us.
As far as the costs you're anticipating and that are in your proposal, I mean, do you anticipate you'll still be able to get those materials within your budget in next year in April 26th? And you've got a crystal ball, I know, to know what's gonna happen next, but
Which materials were you talking about? Just
any of them, just as far as prices going up between now and April.
that is why, if you all you approve this on Monday night, even divided with our polyurethane track, lake with turf, all those things to get locked up quickly, so that everybody's prices are good.
Great, thank you.
Do you know what the bleacher lead time is right now? I mean, that's the thing, is those are gonna take months and months for them to manufacture, so that's the nice part, is we lock them in the price now, and then they show up when we actually need them.
Ain't ready yet. Those were they would have been. So, but that was a month and a half ago. That is the other thing I will tell you all, is your timing of this is good. The fact that a lot of these projects that will be summer work, they won't be under contract until January. So we are definitely getting ahead of the schedule of these to further help make sure that we get all of your dates hit that you want to get hit. So
On that 6 months lead
I
time.
appreciate that.
Great, thank you. Very good.
No more questions from the board? Looks like that's it. I appreciate the team at Tarcat, for doing this, with little notice and jumping on board and making sure that everybody was on the call that needs to be on the call.
We appreciate the opportunity.
Yep, if I continue to get questions, well, you know, I'm gonna send them to you.
Okay.
Good, we're here for it.
All right, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
So the rest of the meeting, is for the board to just discuss as much as you want to discuss. You obviously are not taking any action today on anything. So you can take the whole time if you want to take the whole time. You don't have to take the whole time. Again, it's just what you feel you need.
Well, the one good thing that I'm glad to hear about is that they will train the staff here how to field manage pellets and sand and all that. And the other guys here, they're here all the time, and we let that kept up.
Will we have like one person or we kind of track?
You know, I was thinking about that when you talked about the importance of grooming and not letting things go. I would imagine it would be more than one person, like we're gonna want a team. You know, as with anything, one person can leave, and then we don't have somebody, right?
Right,
So
so lose institutional knowledge.
I would imagine we would have a couple people in maintenance, and then we would want Josh, athletic director, right? Like, there's some key people we probably want trained. I'm sure there's some people that will want to know how to do it, just out of curiosity as well, so. But definitely something for our team to be intentional, strategize that.
And I will say that I talked to someone at Franklin College who maintains the field up there, and they just got their first replacement turf this summer, and that they were very happy with it. And they do have lots and lots of teams. We were worried about the schedule. He said all the teams find a time to practice. That's not, and have games. That's not been an issue. And their field, and I don't remember now what company they used. I know they didn't use the first company that we had talked to in the very first presentation, but because they said we don't need an NFL field. You know, we're a small college, and but I know theirs was the first one lasted 12 or 15 years, so I think 10 is probably a minimum, and depending on the amount of wear and how well you take care of it, you know, so we keep using that number, but I mean, let's keep our fingers crossed that we could actually keep it a couple more years than that. But I thought that was really good, real world experience, and then they were having the new layer put, the new turf laid down, and he said it was really easy to do, and they were just really happy with it all overall.
I'm sure they take it. I can ask that question.
Yeah.
But I highly doubt that they just leave it on our property for us to dispose of. They probably know how to dispose of it properly or recycle or whatever.
Reuse, it's not cut out as really in other places that,
Depending on conditions.
right, but I'm thinking like,
I take it so I wouldn't have to mow my yard no more.
Yeah, they'll put down a whole football field and
just don't drive,
So I guess I've been pretty hard on the whole situation to begin with. I'm gonna eat a lot of crow. Me and Emily battled it out a couple times on the whole thing. Right off the bat, a few pointers I keep going through my head. We're not messing with our taxpayers,
Yeah.
which is huge. And the next time we do wanna do a big project, we're probably gonna have to pass a grant, correct? Depending on,
Depends on, always depends on the context, the amount, legislation that gets passed. Our total school tax rate is so low. The only legislation right now that is out there is concerning with your debt service rate. And if your debt service rate, I think, reaches 40 cents, then you have to go through that petition or monstrance. If it reaches 70 cents, that's the automatic, you have to put it on a referendum. We are at like 13 cents. So unless massive legislation gets passed to lower that tremendously, or if we were to go out and say we wanted to do a $20 million field house, we could do that, but we will raise that service tax rate, and it would probably get to a point where we would have to do petition or monstrance or a referendum.
so that is a bonus as far as I'm concerned. And I think back to, and I don't know how many football people here I got, but I think back to when I was a freshman here at high school. I walked into a brand new gym, an auxiliary gym. That's when you were a freshman too. We weren't a super powerhouse in basketball. We were competitive. It was something that needed to happen for the school. As far as an update, I don't know if does anybody in here remember. You remember the old school, the old gym? I mean,
Played on it.
yeah, me too. It's pretty rough, and I think about. I keep going back. I was anti-turf, and I have been for a long time. They moved it up out of the floodplain. It made it. They're getting our existing field out of the floodplain, which is a bonus to me too. Plus for the track, I look at. So I walked into a new gym, and most of the county threw a fit about it. But look what we still have. And it's 30-some years old now. I think about Eagle Park. When the school corporation bought Eagle Park, and they look what it does now. And this is a huge project. To me, it's a very big project, a lot of money, and I'm going to be a Debbie Downer here on our current football program. And I'm not downing them, but we struggle, and I get a lot of pushback from, why are you going to spend that kind of money on a football team that can't hardly win a game? That comes and goes. The reality of it for Brown County is we're never going to be a powerhouse in football. I played football. We're just Brown County, and sometimes we're competitive. Sometimes it's like in all sports. But I do look at it too as it improves our school. I'd rather drive up down the road and see my money there than in wherever it goes. I look at we got the kids that are gonna be playing football. We have Mr. Phelps, I think our soccer program just keeps growing, correctly? I mean, it's jumping leaps and bounds. This is gonna provide a good field for them. One of my main concerns is, and I'm sure it'll be taken care of, is it being utilized. I wanna use a lot. You know, 'cause I mean, it's, you know, we have a very good track program, you know.
And cross country.
So I look, yes, and so I look at all I've been weighing at night pros and cons of, is this a good idea, is this a bad idea? And I think it is a good idea for the school to proceed in this manner, to make the school look better, plus to provide, okay, so we got a mediocre football team, we got a pretty nice football field to play on. My pros have started to outweigh my cons. Like I said, I'll eat a lot of crow, but I think it's a good step for the school. And it's like every few years the school has to spend a lot of money on a project. That's the same football field we've been playing on since
75, I think.
that was the year I was born, 50 years ago.
Yeah. And we've done almost nothing to it, right?
I mean,
I don't recall much done to it.
yeah. I was gonna say, I've probably been in here the longest besides Vicky and this guy
Redoing
right
the
here.
grandstand, maybe redoing the grandstand.
Yeah.
Or in the
Yeah.
little
So I mean,
press box.
Yeah.
it's probably one of the last things that has never really been touched. So that's my spiel on it, and
Question, I think we had discussed this already, brought up in the past. Was there ever a consideration of maybe that
We did.
Well, I didn't hear your question. So-
Moving to Eagle Park.
moving the footballs out to Eagle Park.
yeah.
Not fit under that scope of budget because there's not an existing field that you're building from scratch.
What would something like that cost?
Is, yeah.
Plus
Plus,
it's-
if we were gonna do that, I think the field house would have taken precedence over that.
Well, and it's long, I mean, we still don't have a good way to get to Eagle Park, right? This is the doorway to Brown County, and I do think the public view is important I come down to the community, like, a lot of things, like, I think our school, we are the community, and we allow people to use our facilities and our grounds all the time. Private groups, nonprofit groups, we keep our tennis courts open, we keep our track open, and we want people to use our facilities, we keep our playgrounds open, right? And so I think it's really important that we look at it from that community perspective, that first of all, we are the doorway to the county coming in on 46, but also that everybody will have an opportunity to use it. I think they'll want to use it. Right now, as you can see, nobody wants to use it because it's just not in great shape as it used to be.
Some people walk the track right now. I will also say when we talked about skateboards and rollerblades and things like that, like I don't want that to alarm anyone, like,
I got a skateboard.
we're not going to,
Yeah.
that's not going to happen.
It says that already. I mean, I think that's already the rule, so. So to me, it comes down to when we build something major like that, it isn't just for our K-12 kids. It's for everybody. And so I think, again, I see it as investing in the community, not the football team. And I keep saying, I'm the arts person. If I think we need a new football field, that's a lot for me to say, because I watch the band, I don't watch the football team, sorry, but I'm not, and that's not my thing. But I think the opportunities for all the other things that we'll be able to do there, and the opportunity to practice, right? Like, if we've got a rainy spring, it can be very difficult to do track and other things. And the other piece for me is just that we've been losing. Everybody tells us we're losing kids because of athletics, and then they're mad when we want to improve our athletic facility. Like, you can't have it both ways. So we are competing. We have to admit that we are competing with other public schools, as well as charter schools and vouchers. And so, this is you know, one of those things, it is a 50-year-old facility or more, and it is, you know, you do have to maintain your buildings. My other big piece is that it's dangerous. We can't, you know, continue to use it, so we have to do something. And if we're gonna do this something, we should do it right. So that's where I am.
I'm all for it. I mean, I think our school would be better for it. I think the boys would have more interest maybe to come out, maybe play football.
I've been on the board since 2007. Between 2007 and 2009, that's when we had the property tax fiasco in this county where we weren't getting, nobody was getting the money because it had to be all redone, it was screwed up and everything, and this school corporation had to take out bonds with the state to keep functioning. And as part of that plan, it was, we could not fix all the things that we needed to fix in these different buildings in the whole corporation. We had to do it step by step by step. Nashville Elementary was the last one that got air conditioning. And I mean, I remember staying over there with my kid in school, just sweating out, you know, at the time. And we've been slowly but surely bringing different facilities up to date. It's time to bring that facility up to date. And with, you know, the AstroTurf concept and stuff, that, and yes, there'll be still maintenance, but it's not the kind of maintenance you have to do every 4 days, every 5 days that the staff has to do, or you have to hire somebody to do it and stuff. So, and it's kind of like Amy was saying, if you don't build it, they don't come. So that, to build it and then give opportunity there, and encourage so on, for people to take it out. So,
I do, I agree, and I think there's a narrative out there that this is gonna fix any declining enrollment. It's not going to fix the enrollment challenges that we have. And I think we spent an entire year campaigning that Brown County kids are worth it. We got kids here right now that are worth it to be able to have the upgrades, like we said, in that arena. So that's what I keep coming back to. I know football's the hot topic. I think it always is everywhere, right?
That's the view of it.
That's the view of it. But it is so much more than just football.
just to highlight things, since you brought up my daughter graduated in 2009. That summer, that's when the high school science lab got redone. And her comment to me, why didn't they do that before?
Right.
But that science lab was the same science lab that her daddy went to school with and stuff. So, you know, it just kind of,
Science
it's
lab's
kind of the same thing. Oh, yeah.
They're so beautiful.
The new one's nice, you know, but I remember what the old one looked like too, so. And if that's the kind of things that, as a corporation, we've been trying to upgrade as we can to give our students the best opportunity.
My gut hurts thinking about this, just back and forth, because like Doug indicated, I've been not anti-turf, but I've not been pro-turf. You know, the discussion of this. I see all the opportunities that the facility could give us, allow us to get. But I'm still very much on the fence with that heart, head, all of it, just all of it.
What is it that gives you concern?
No, that's where I'm stuck. Because when Ellen and I talked the other day, I said, I can't, like, I don't know what it is that I need to get me. Like, I'm all for everything, but something about that turf field is not, I can't get past that.
And I'm like,
Yeah, oh yeah. But there's just something about it, and I can't tell you what it is, that I just can't get past. I'm all for the upgrade, it's just that turf field is what gets me.
so you think we should put, I mean, So the answer is, should we do grass?
I don't know the answer.
Right. I mean, the thing is I think that's the only.
That's the only option.
Right.
And I just, and granted, I'm coming at it from the perspective of a 10-year-old playing on that turf field, how hot it gets, how much he doesn't like having to tackle one, and how it hurts. It's-
Right, kid
you
comes
know,
home and
the
says,
kid
I don't
comes
like
home,
it.
Yes, yeah.
But that gets back to coach management and facility management, because, if you got a super hot day, it's way, as a physical therapist,
Right.
somebody better be paying attention, or get the kids on the field, because that's, an unsafe thing, whether you have grass or turf, so that's a whole other.
Those 90-degree days this summer would have been miserable wherever you were, right? Do we know how the students feel about it?
Yeah, I wish Josh or Steve would be here to speak to that. I can't speak to it other than the ones that came to the prior public meetings.
Right, who are in favor generally, right? I just wondered about the kids. Again, I feel like I know what the staff feels. I assume, the kids, they're not gonna lose a lot of time in that, hopefully.
I can speak to my superintendent student advisory group, like, they were all, gung ho, about it. Now, granted, that's 28 kids out of 400, but I know people have asked, is Josh in favor of this, is Gavin in favor of this, like administrators? They are all supportive of this. Again, the team that has been working with Tarquette has been, Jimmy, Steve, Josh, Gavin, myself, from day one, so.
I was in Seymour this weekend, and I ran into somebody, and they said, I work for Tarquette, and I was like, oh. And he said, and I want to give kudos to one of our staff members, he says, you should keep Jimmy Jackson. He said,
Aw.
he is the best, and I've worked on a lot of projects in other places, and he said, it's really great. So I was like, thank you, that's what we love to hear. So, pass that on. And I cannot remember his name, I don't think he's one of those guys, but I think he's another one, but he's definitely part of the project and has been working on it, so. I just thought that was really nice, it wasn't about the field itself, but just how it is great, it is matter who you're working with. And again, one of the first questions I asked you is, do you like them? Are they easy to work with? Because that's the other question for us, is, we've all encountered contractors who are very difficult to work with, so.
It was I wish somebody else was here to be able to
Yeah.
be evidence of that, but that was my very first question, like, who is my direct person that I'm going, like, I wanna know that I can call on the cell phone at the drop of a dime, and they're gonna answer, and without shadow of a doubt, it has been that entire team. I will say Scott, who is vice president of the organization, and Aaron, who does the Ampere part, I mainly work through the both of them, and
Yeah. I thought Erin was particularly good at communicating.
David, of the games that your girls have played?
Janice, I would be careful of just about, because he's in a different role right now.
Which time the players take on the band versus?
I think we could ask that, like, you could probably have a conversation and ask that, he's just serving in a different role right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to ask a question. Sorry.
I know as much as I'm gonna know, right? I
And
feel
that's
good
what
about it.
the purpose of today was, so you
I
guys
wonder
could
why
talk
we
together.
couldn't put a lever on them somehow and say, we got softball diamond and baseball diamond.
I'll put a lever on them for that post-tension track. I will say,
That sounds
like,
exciting.
it's, the track's a big deal in this specific project.
Yeah, I think that's great, because that also means, there are a lot of, just like the cross-country events we host, there are a lot of track events that,
I think the big ego of
Eagle
Yeah.
Talon.
And if I remember
Or
right,
the Talon relays. It's Eagle Classic, it's cross country, Talon relays is track.
if I remember right, the next week, sections too.
Probably. Well, and again, for me, it is also the opportunity to practice. Because if most other places now have turf, then I feel like our kids may be at a disadvantage because suddenly they're, I was an ice skater, and so every rink you go to is different. And so just like going to every field, you've got to go out and practice on that particular field because they're all different. And if they're not practicing even on the same surface, same thing with tennis courts, like clay versus, regular courts. The ball bounces differently, the way you run is different. So I feel like they will have grass and turf so that they'll be able to practice on both and be ready for both. So if next week is on grass, then you can head over to the grass and practice there. July? I mean, I think all the sports teams do conditioning all summer. They all have their time in the
We're just
gym.
thinking that was the one that, when they start construction.
Yeah, it'll impact them.
Yeah, there's gonna be impact to the schedule, I'm sure, in some form.
As he said, do your away games first. So,
But we also, because it's not this whole thing, it's outlined, but
And the practice field won't be touched. We'll still have the
I can
practice
still
field.
go over here. Yeah.
but
So-
they're different construction.
Yeah. It's in that, yeah, the base station. Well, Monday, it will be on the board agenda. The recommendation to approve the project as presented. I guess I also, like with any project that we've done, think about the middle school project, a lot of design decisions had to be made. Those design decisions aren't made until the project is approved. So it's not like
The colors and the size and letters.
even the landscaping, like, the concession stand, like those pieces, that will take the team together and, if it is approved, it would be like the middle school project, we would bring updates to the board, throughout the project, so.
I was glad he said he would talk to concession staff, because again, you need to have the input of the people who are gonna use whatever area it is, because, we've all been in a place that's poorly designed, and we're like, why couldn't they do it, the way you need it done? So I just wanna make sure everybody gets their input at that stage, and we can design it, because at the moment, it's really just a big empty room, and we can do what we need to.
But obviously, still, as questions come up, send them, I will send them to the team, we can continue to carry that process out until we
And just a question, I didn't read the paper for today, is there a story about this in there?
Yes.
I haven't read it yet.
Front page.
I usually read it on Tuesday, and I didn't, so. That was my question, is whether or not, how much the public knows.
A lot.
A lot.
So
But I
nobody knows.
I just searched a couple of group chats, and I saw 0, so. I think
Well, anything else?
I'm good.
Can I get a motion to adjourn this meeting? Second? All in favor?